Millz Young here, aka MMA Locker Room here with Pick Dawgz. UFC bet with me. We're back at it, man, and I'm gonna be going over this week's card. UFC Abu Dhabi. Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Corey Sandhagen in the main event. Got a good co-main event with Nurmagomedov, aka the one-eyed pirate. He's fighting in that fight. Got some other good fights on the card to talk about. 13 fights to break it down. This is just how the show goes. I go over every single fight, give my prediction, give you guys if I'm playing it, if I have a bet. At the end of the week, I give you guys a parlay and try to cash out on you guys and get us paid. Let's talk about last week, man. Yeah, we beat the bookies up. I mean, 10-4 last week. A lot of underdogs came through. Bruno Brazil came through and cashed that, man. Like, easy money on there. Uban Elliott, nice dog money. What about the championship fight? Bilal Muhammad, underdog? Man, we cashed big time, man. How'd you guys do last week? What was your guys' best bet? Hey, what is the bet that you guys all regret? We all got those bets that we regret. Me, I regret going against Paddy Pimblett and going with King Green. That fight just didn't play out like anybody thought. King Green usually never goes for takedowns, and he goes for a takedown in the first round. Just kind of crazy, right? Christian Leroy Duncan, I wasn't able to get that one right, those were pretty much my big two losses on the card. But besides that, had a lot of big winners, and we already know how we go, man. When you cash on big dogs, you're always going to have some bumps across the road. But hey, those are two bets that I definitely regret. All right, let's go ahead and get it started, man. The first fight of the night, Cedric Dumas, 9-2, going to be taking on Dennis Tullian. All right, so this fight is booked now for the second time. First time, Dennis Tullian had an opponent in a boost, Azza Attar, I want to say, and he pulled out. So Cedric Dumas was going to fly out there on short day's notice, like an 8-day notice replacement. But something happened with his visa and the fight got canceled. He didn't go out there and take it on short day's notice. In this fight right now, let's talk about the gambling odds. He's opened up as a 2-1 favorite on here. Last time out, he took a loss against Nursultan Rozabov, where he got poked in the eye a couple of times and then, lost by KO, due to the pokes in the eye. Before that, though, he was looking good, putting together a win streak in the UFC. He's a talented, highly explosive kickboxer, who has decent submission skills too and can mix it in the wrestling. Dennis Tullian, he's a guy that, hasn't really been able to put together those wins in the UFC. I think he's like 1-4, and he's been knocked out in all of his 4 losses in here. But I do gotta say, man, he has power when he's punching. He's not going to give you a lot of volume and stuff. The thing is can he take a hit? We don't know, but we're going to find out. I like Cedric Dumas to get it done in here. I actually think he could win inside the distance, but I also can see him winning by decision because that's the way that he did win his couple of fights in the UFC already in here. Now, I do have an interview out with Cedric Dumas, so if you guys want to get more information on one of the fighters that's fighting this week, just go on YouTube and type in MMA Locker Room interview Cedric Dumas, and you guys will see it out there, man. All right, next fight on the card, Jai Herbert taking on Rolando Bedoya. Jai Herbert opened up a -165 favorite, former Cage Warrior fighter, right? But thing is this, the Cage Warriors just had their big fight scene out there in London last week, and guess what? He didn't get the call. He didn't get put on it. That just kind of shows where the UFC is going with this one in here, man. And it shows where the line's going too. Bedoya, he opened up plus money price tag, right? Now the money's coming in on him, and there's a reason why. He's 0-2 in the UFC, but the way that he strikes, man, he puts up value. Every single fight that he has he struck over 100 times in them. In this fight, Jai Herbert's a slow, it doesn't give you the most value, you know what I mean? He's gonna stand there, but he does have power, okay? I like the dog in this one, man. I got a bet on Bedoya. I think he could win in the late 3rd round, or if it goes to the scorecard, that value that he's going to be putting up is going to be hard to pass up. Bedoya is stepping down to this weight class, so we will see how that takes place. This is his first fight, going to be at the 155 division, but I like the dog in this one, and I think we're going to be able to cash it. My first dog of the night, give me Rolando Bedoya to win. Third fight on the card, man. All right, Victoria Dudakova taking on Sam Hughes. Victoria Dudakova opened up a -165. Now she's down to I think a -150. Sam Hughes out there, 8-6 in the UFC. Well, that's her record at least, you know. Everybody know what you're gonna get with Sam Hughes. She's a tough, gritty fighter, you know, and she surprises in a lot of spots when she's supposed to as an underdog. And this one, Dudikova is 2-0 in the UFC. I think she should be able to get the win in here. As long as she should be able to stuff the takedowns, you know, and keep this on the feet. I think she's going to make this a little bit closer than what she needs to be. So with that being said, I know there's a lot of people out there that like Sam Hughes, and they're going to keep betting on her. So I'm going to just wait on till like Saturday, see how low Dudikova gets. If she could get around that minus 140 range, I'm on it, you know. But for right now, at that minus 155, minus 160, it might be a parlay piece for me. I might light up a nice little solid two-leg, you know, with that at that 160 price. But just given off of her fight experience and her fight resume, there's no way I can bet her straight at a minus 160 and feel confident, or even at a minus 155. Minus 130. I might just convince myself, but I'd rather not. I'd rather see if we got other spots on this card, though. Speaking about other spots on this card, man, we got Jordan Vucinic making his UFC debut, 13-2, former Cage Warriors fighter, man. He was the featherweight champion in there. Now he's stepping up, you know, on short notice to take on Garum Kateladze. And Garum, we haven't seen him fight in like over a year, damn near. This is the thing. He's a great fighter, but he slows down as the fight goes. The gambling odds has him as a 2-1 favorite in there. Jordan Vucinic just fought like 13 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago on the Cage Warrior scene. He was able to get the win in that fight. After he got that win, I was like, all right, cool. I know he's on the UFC's radar for sure after that. He also got a win over Morgan Charrier, who fights in the UFC too. You know, so he has some decent names on his resume as well, man. If this stays on the feet, he's solid with the striking, solid with the submission skills, you know. Does struggle with the takedowns, though. So if he gets taken down, man, that's where Garam will shine. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I like the dog in this one, man. Give me the former Cage Warriors champion, man. Jordan Vucinic, man. I'm taking him right now as advertised with the plus money price tag, stepping up at a higher weight class. I know the odds are against him, but hey, man, it's gambling. And sometimes you got to make a pick. This is one of those to where in this fight, I think he's going to show people, hey, man, I'm one of the ones from Cage Warriors who's really coming over here to make my name. Shout out to the ones that did it and came before him. All right, man. Next fight on the card. We got some big boys stepping up now, all right? But before we do that, everybody smash that like button for me. Hit up the comments for me one time. Let me know who you guys are looking at so far in the early prelims on this card, okay? And let me know if you guys agree with my first 4 picks so far. Next fight on the card, Shamil Gaziev, 12-1, taking on Dontel Mays, 11-6. Shamil Gaziev took his first defeat last time out against Yair Rozenstruik in a main event fight to where, you know, he only looked good in 1 round, and then after that he got a clinic put on him. But I think he was stepping up to that plate way too early and way too soon. When you're fighting a fighter like Rozenstruik, man, you gotta be like in the top 5, top 15, top 10, you know. And Shamil Gaziev is still just getting started in the UFC. Dontel Mays, though, man, this guy, I got an automatic fade button. So buyer beware. Whenever I see Dontel Mays fight, I just bet the other person. It's just as that. But I do got to give him some respect. Last time out against his last opponent, he looked better, okay? And I said it in that fight. No shade for Dontel Mays no more, man. You know, you're not gonna hear anything bad coming out my mouth to say to him. He's getting wins, and he's doing his thing, man. He's doing better than me. I'm just sitting there predicting fights. But when it's all said and done, I just can't get behind him. I don't care if he's underdog. I don't care if he's a slight favorite. I just bet against him, man. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I like Shamil Gaziev to win inside the distance at a minus 120 in this one. Point blank period. I like Shamil Gaziev to win. Even at the price tag that he's at, a 2-1 favorite in there, I think he definitely gets the scene on you know, fighting in Abu Dhabi. He's going to have, you know, the crowd behind him and stuff like that. So that's what some of these fighters, you know, that's getting booked on this card, they're going to have, you know, that background crowd influence, you know. And so we'll see how this one plays out. I think Shamil should be able to go ahead and get it done, though, in the first or second round. He wins inside the distance. Let's go ahead and move on. Next fight taking place, Caio Fernandez, 8-2, going to be taking on Muhammad Yahya, 12-4. Muhammad Yahya made his UFC debut last time out. UAE fighter. He's one of the guys that's pretty much was signed to the UFC to represent the Abu Dhabi fighters out there in the community and stuff like that. He didn't look good against Trevor Peek in that one. In this fight, he's a big underdog. He's taking on Caio Fernandez. Caio Fernandez, he's a decent striker. I really like his striking. He's a minus 380, I want to say. I just think he wins. I'm not going to spend too much time on here at all. But I will say this, man. My boy was telling me something like I wouldn't be surprised. My boy said his best dog on the card was Muhammad Yahya. And I looked at him while I was doing the podcast like, whoa, like that's crazy. But he put it out there and I was like, all right, man, I guess. But he did have a case. He said, hey, man, if this goes to the scorecards, you don't think the judges are going to do everything they can to finally get their boy that win? And I started thinking a little bit like, you know what? But me, I can't. I bet with him once. I don't like the way that he fights. Nothing entertaining, slow on his feet. No sense of urgency at all in that cage. And that's something you need. Next fight taking place, man. We got a good one, man. Asma Murakhanov, 13-0, taking on Alonzo Manfield. Alonzo Manfield just fought like 2-3 months ago and got knocked out in the first round. Now he's back, folks. All right, but he's back as an underdog, man. Azat Murakhanov opened up like a minus 210 on the books. I think that's where he's sitting at right now in here. I like him to get it done in here. I think he has multiple paths to victory. I think he can finish him in the side. Both these guys can stand in front of each other and strike and take their time. But if they do, Asmak Murakhanov is the way cleaner striker, has way better technique, a lot more power, and I feel way more confident with him, especially with the gas tank, especially with the cardio. When it comes down to it, Asmak Murakhanov is going to win inside the distance. Let's go ahead and get it. Next fight taking place, man. We got a good one. Joel Alvarez going to be taking on Elvis Brenner. Joel Alvarez, man, open up a minus 160s all the way up to a minus 180. The best bet on here is fight not going the distance. Elvis Brenner, he usually gets finished or else he finishes an opponent. Joel Alvarez, though, for this division, his reach, his length, he's going to be giving a lot of fighters problems, man. His striking is slick, but he shines on the mat. His submission skills is top tier. I like him in this spot right here. It's one of the guys I usually bet on, too. I only lost money from me once, I want to say. But, yeah, Elvis Brenner is a live dog, though. Don't get me wrong. But I like Joel Alvarez in here, and that's something that I did bet straight up at that minus 160 spot. Next fight taking place, a good one, man, and it should have been a pick'em to me. Mackenzie Dern taking on Lupita Godinez. Mackenzie Dern, last time out, lost to Amanda Lemos in a fight to where all she had to do, we thought, was just use the takedowns and the wrestlings and get it done. Lupi Godinez, man, she lost her last time out against Verena Jandiroba. It just seems like when you think Lupi Godinez is going to do the game plan to win, she doesn't. And she's a clean boxer, great wrestling, goes for the takedowns. But does she really go for the takedowns? Not as much as you would like when you're betting on her. Mackenzie Dern on the other side, man, she's going out there just to try to finish you, try to get you down to the ground. On the striking, she's throwing with power in here. She's a minus 130 favorite. I've been kind of back and forth all week. When it comes down to it, I got to go with Mackenzie Dern one more time in this spot, man. It's one of my 3 Gs. Stick to your gut, stick to your guns, and stick with your guy or girls. She was one of my girls that I bet on, and I'm going to give her that one more shot in this one, man. That minus 130 price tag, because I do think if she gets Lupi Godinez down to the ground, Lupi might not be able to get up, folks. And we might get that old Mackenzie Dern. Tap, tap, tap. All right, let's keep it going, man. Got a few more fights to talk about, man. We got Tony Ferguson taking on Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa opened up a minus 380. He's all the way up to a minus 700 favorite. I'm betting on Tony Ferguson. I think Tony Ferguson wins. I'm not lying, folks. The people that he lost to, if you went through the first 4 people, everybody would say, yeah, he's going to lose to Bernard Dariush. Yeah, he would lose to Charles Oliveira. Yeah, he would lose to Michael Chandler. The list of the newer fighters that he lost to, whatever. But when it's all said and done, Michael Chiesa, he's just like Tony Ferguson as far as I can't trust him. And you guys are betting him at a favorite. Not me. I bet on Tony Ferguson. Plus 425. And if that number keeps going up, I might sprinkle a little bit more, man. I think Tony Ferguson's going to choke this dude out, man. Both these dudes are Ultimate Fighter champion, alumni, winners. Tony Ferguson, though, when it's all said and done, yes, he's on a 7-fight lose streak. So what? Chiesa's on a 3-fight losing streak. I get it. I'm giving Tony Ferguson that one last spot, man. That one last spot. Let's go ahead and get it, man. I think he's going to win. Look, listen, hear me out. If Michael Chiesa stayed at minus 380, minus 360, all right, cool. You can make a good parlay piece with that and rock out and just leave it at that. But anything over that, and you guys are really thinking that Michael Chiesa is going to have way better cardio than Tony Ferguson in these later rounds, not me. I ain't going for it. Next fight, Marlon Vera taking on Deiveson Figueiredo. Marlon Vera, 23-9-1. Deiveson Figueiredo, 23-1. Deiveson Figueiredo is a minus 145, minus 140. I like him in this spot. Marlon Vera always takes that first round off. Slow starter. I like Deiveson Figueiredo to get it done. Mixing the takedowns. Way more power striking. Yes, Chito Vera is going to have better volume as the fight goes. Deiveson Figueiredo, he's going to go out there and go for the finish though, man. He's trying to make that title run in this new division in here. And that is something that I bet at that minus 145 spot. Co-main event time, we got Nurmagomedov taking on Michelle Oleksiejczuk. All right, man. Nurmagomedov, 13-0, man. This is the guy. He's the one that everybody been waiting to see, man. And he seems like he's only been cleared to fight over the States in Abu Dhabi because he fights with one eye. One of the most interesting fighters you've seen. You know, comes out there, you know, wrapped up with the Thai arms, bands, and everything like that. The real Thai fighters, you know, and he's looking as advertised so far in the UFC. I want to say he's what, 2-3-0, 2-0. Whatever, man. I like him in this spot. He's a minus 220 favorite in here. His opponent, he stands around. He gives opportunities to the people that he's facing to knock him out. And I think he's going to do the same thing in here. Shera, he's been kind of a slow starter so far in the UFC. In this one, though, I think he's going out there explosive in that first, second round, just like he was doing on the regionals we're seeing before he got into the UFC. All right, man. But if this goes to the later rounds, okay, I still like him in this spot, man. All right, I like Nurmagomedov to go ahead and extend that win streak, 14-0. But I like him to win inside the distance with this one. I do think he can get the KO, especially based on his opponent. His opponent, though, let me talk about him. Oleksiejczuk does throw with power. That first round, he's live to knock out anybody because that's what he's going out there to do. Okay, but Nurmagomedov, he's out there striking. He's kicking more than he's hitting. He has these big lunge kicks that he does, and then he has these like heel kicks that he'll kick you in the chest, pull back, fake like he's kicking you in the body, and then kick you in the head. So, you know, I wouldn't be too surprised if he can get it going in here, man. Yeah, if you guys are like in Taekwondo and kicks and stuff like that, Nurmagomedov is the guy you need to watch because the way that he strikes better with his feet. His feet is like 65% of his arsenal. You know, his hands only flow the other percent. Next fight, man. Main event time. But before we do that, I need everybody out there. Smash the like button for me. Hit up the comments. Let me know. Have you guys ever made money betting on Corey Sandhagen? Yes or no? Let us know. Have you guys ever made money betting on Nurmagomedov? Yes or no? Main event time. That's who we're breaking it down. Umar Nurmagomedov, 17-0, taking on Corey Sandhagen. All right, man. Umar Nurmagomedov opened up like a minus 270, minus 280. Now he's up to like that minus 310 price tag. He's one of the guys to where you never get him as low as this just to play. He's usually a big favorite, minus 500, minus 600, and so forth and so forth. Undefeated. You know, just based on the last name and based on the fighting style. Looks like he's adding stuff to his game, you know. In this fight, though, I think Corey Sandhagen is getting disrespected by the bookmakers, folks. I don't think Corey Sandhagen should be plus this amount against anybody in this division right here. We've been seeing what he's been doing in this division against the top-tier fighters. This is the first time Umar Nurmagomedov has fought anybody within the top 15, top 10, top 5. Come on now, man. Yes, I think Umar Nurmagomedov should win, could win, okay? But if you're asking me, betting wise, if he was relying right, minus 140, minus 160, all right, then I could really like make a case for it and talk you guys into that. Sorry, folks, I can't. I'm on Corey Sandhagen. I'm gonna talk you into that, man. Look, listen, hear me out, man. The way that Corey Sandhagen switches his stance and strikes, he can give Umar Nurmagomedov problems, okay? The way that Corey Sandhagen goes for the takedowns himself can give Umar Nurmagomedov problems. I mean, and if he wins this fight, he's going to be fighting for that belt next. And he's been asking for this fight for like over years now, saying, give me Nurmagomedov, give me Nurmagomedov. You get what you want. And I think he's prepared a nice little game plan for it in this one, okay? He's over there training with Trevor Whitman. And, you know, when you're getting with a coach like that at this stage of your career and you haven't been with somebody like that and they're putting different stuff in your game plan in your ear, you might come out there and add more wrinkles to your game and look way more improved than what you've seen before. And if you were already good and you're adding that in, just imagine what we can see. Based on the odds and everything, I'm taking Corey Sandhagen in there, man. Yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, Umar Nurmagomedov, if it's gonna have Khabib in his corner coaching him, when I did see that, man, I was damn, man, it made me start to want to kind of look at the Umar, right? But then I was like, it's kind of done, you know. But that does worry me because Khabib, he ain't gonna let you slide in between rounds or even during the rounds. And when you hear Khabib yelling at you, you just go out there and execute. I remember we're him with telling Islam like what to do word for word to submit people. So that's scary me in there, man. But I like fighting not to go the distance for my safest bet. But I will be taking a shot on Corey Sandhagen in this one, man. But Umar Nurmagomedov at this price tag, I know people that could bet him straight minus 300 because it's the lowest he ever been. So you're gonna have people like that that's gonna be betting him straight, and then you got people that's all gonna be parlaying him, Hey, whichever way you guys get it, hope you guys get paid, all right? Let's go over, you know, the picks for you guys just to let you guys know exactly, you know, what I want to do for a parlay to get you guys paid. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys Joao Alvarez, all right? That'll be my one leg right there. And then I'm going to give you Asmat Mirzakhanov. Parlay those two. Meet me at the window and let's get paid. MMA locker room here. PFL is going on this week too. You make sure you guys are watching that this Friday. I did some interviews with some of the fighters out there with Dakota Da Vinci and then who was it? Gina Bishop. So if you guys want to see my interview clips with the PFL fighters, just look those up. They're out there as well. Until then, until next time, UFC bet with me. MMA locker room here, part of Pick Dawgz. Let's beat up the books, folks.